Empire of Japan stands at a crossroads. Hoshukin-ron, the northern expansion doctrine, is favoured by the army and calls for an advance into Siberia. Nanshin-ron, the southern expansion doctrine, is supported by the navy and has the rich European colonies in Southeast Asia and the Pacific as a target. And then, of course, there is always China. Japan possesses a formidable military, but its industries are starving for resources and time is running out. Which path will you choose? And we're going to leave everything just default. Historical AI is on. Could just turn off historical focus. That is tantamount to not playing historical. All hail Viking King Mordred and his executive decisions. Long may he reign. Huzzah! Alright, so you are throwing up all of the tutorial stuff again for reasons. I'm actually not sure why, because I haven't reset anything. This usually happens when you've been running a mod. Although, speaking of mods, is it time to start introducing some? It might be. I'm thinking player-led peace conferences, because the peace system in this game is still garbage. Garbage. You know who I don't see a lot of in Hard to Find 4 playthroughs? USA. Like we did at the beginning of the week. You mean that USA? No, we're doing historical Japan. So my plan at the moment is war with China, of course. We're going to try and push south into the Dutch East Indies pretty much as soon as possible, because from down there it has a couple of resources I want, primarily oil and rubber. Oil and rubber means that I can then use motorized. We're going to need to go after Malaya so I can get the tungsten for artillery, then I can use motorized artillery with motorized regiments. And I'm kind of thinking maybe go superior firepower Japan, because superior firepower against heavy manpower nations is really good, and I'm thinking motorized divisions are very, very good against the US, just because it's such a large land space. Like, the US and Russia are kind of similar in many ways, just because they're so big. Although against the Soviets it's more of a steamroller, against the US you want blitzkrieg. We're going to want tanks, maybe fast mediums. And we're going to want aircraft, so we're going to need... We want everything, basically, is what I'm saying here. Naval strategy. So here is where things get interesting. We can try to go toe-to-toe with the US. That seems like incredibly weak tea. What the hell's happening here? That's weird. Huzzah! Got stronger as I was pouring it, but it just seemed really, really weak when I poured it first. Oh hey, and we've had some subscriptions. I'm sorry about those. Duke Silverrose coming in with a 46-month resubscription. Wow, that is a while, Silverrose. Thank you very much for the ongoing support there. Then we've got Trusa DK coming in with a new follow. Welcome to the channel. Silas Harkonnen with a Tier 2 7-month resubscription. Thank you very much for that. Happy slightly belated holidays, Mordred. Hope you've had a good one. I have. And then Duaful coming in with an 18-month resubscription. Thank you very much for that as well. Merry Christmas, Frolic Kerstfaced. Thank you very much for that, Duaful. We want everything. Sounds very period appropriate for the Japanese. Speaking of mods, since you've been doing a lot of co-op, TNO co-op could be really fun. I'm not convinced about that, actually, because the thing with TNO is it's the story. And if you're doing a co-op game, you do not have time to go through the story. Gonna do heavy fighters or less groups of lots of normal warriors. Normal fighters, rather. I don't know yet. So one thing, I'm still not massively familiar with the Japanese focus tree, because I just don't play Japan very often. Where even is their military stuff? It's over here, isn't it? Yes. And then the Air Force is down here. So we get fighter modernization, which is fighters and heavy fighters. So we can actually do both. In fact, none of this is mutually exclusive. Huzzah! So we can do the Aichi Design Company, which is fighter range, heavy fighter range, tactical bomber, reliability. Or we can do agility. That's a massive amount of agility. 20% and also max speed. Oh, we're going fighters. Mitsubishi is probably one of the best designers. 20% agility and 10% max speed. Yeah, I think we'll do regular fighters. Because I'm not really intending to go after the Soviets. There's not going to be a fight in Siberia. Gribberton, thank you for the gifted sub to Royal Raven. And T-Wraith, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Very much appreciate the ongoing support there. Problem with firepower is that integrated is always better than dispersed. Now that army templates are bigger, that's not necessarily true. If memory serves, as long as you have more than 3 line artillery, then dispersed is better. The problem is with the old templates, you usually have smaller combat width. That's not necessarily true anymore. If you go Navy, will you focus on subs or the real above sea fleet? So that is the question here. We have carrier warfare versus supremacy of the battle fleet. I personally am a battleship proponent. I like battleships. But with Mitsubishi having excellent fighters, it does make sense to go carrier. And then we also have long-range torpedoes with the torpedo screen penetration plus 20%, which could be really good for submarines. You start with base strike. Just because you start with something doesn't mean you can't change it, though. But I think Japan is one of the few nations where I'd kind of go, you know what, submarines is probably the right option. What's the best combat width for tanks? 30. Because most planes is... well, planes is where you want tanks fighting. And planes combat width is... oh wait. Yeah, 90. So with 30 combat width you can get 3 tanks in. Or possibly 15. Just have a million little tank divisions. I don't think you'd have a lot of organisation though if you had just 15 combat width. Alright, so what are we producing? We are producing interwar fighters. Those are garbage, never build them. Carrier naval bombers. I'm going to turn those off for now, just because priorities. Which gives me a couple more factories. I definitely want trains. And I definitely want motorized, except for the fact that we actually have no rubber at the moment. But we're going to want some motorized, so we'll just have to make it at reduced speed. We'll also go for some light tanks. And then guns and artillery. Are we still going to be doing historical Japan? Yes. Okay, so focuses. I think for this it's going to be either Kodahar or Purge Kodahar. Oh no, Kodahar is anti-Soviet. Purge Kodahar is China, Marco Polo. So we're going to go Kodahar, historical. A new faction has appeared, intent to take control of the government and strike north into the Soviet Union. We must eliminate them before they can do too much damage. And then we also need civilian factories, except at this point we are still... Actually, we are partial mobilization. So we don't necessarily need to build infrastructure. Do I get any free infrastructure from anything? No. Yes, Singapore gets one free, but that's just Singapore. And we don't have an industrial tree at all. We just have the Manchurian project. Which we may want to upgrade as well. Well, in that case, I think what we're going to do is we're going to build some civilian factories in all of the heavily industrialized regions. And then, do we have any decisions? Not at the moment, but we do have these priorities which do give us free factories and things. Which is the Army-Navy balance. Let's see where the cheeky Manchus goes. Historical focuses. So I don't think they'll do anything weird. Hopefully. Then we should also grab our armies. In fact, I can just click on here, can't I? There we go. And we'll just have you all drilling. And then we need our navy, which we need to turn into one massive Kido Butai. Actually, let's go to our big port, which is... Do we have a 10? We do. Gosh. You need to research heavy fighters for the fight with China. Why? The air zones are relatively big, but I'm going to go with regular fighters because I really like Mitsubishi. We'll just need to make sure that we keep building air bases. And upgrading the variant. Although we do need to research better fighters, you're not wrong about that. Let's get 36 fighters going so we can at least start building them early. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, Zero is Mitsubishi produced. I would imagine so. Mitsubishi is all the short-range stuff. Ah. Except, no, we don't want to be doing that yet. Stop! Go back to doing tanks. Or maybe artillery? No, it's not another variant type. Medium tanks. Are we going to focus on close air support? Yes. And that's all of our ships in one place. So what do I need to do here? Well, one thing I have not yet done is sorted out the production of vessels yet, which we do need to do. I also need to say I want more than just 4 shipyards repairing stuff. 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, 36, whoops. And once we've got all of the 36s to the top of this list, we'll sort out the exact priority. 41, 42... 38, 39, 41, 42. Okay. February, March, May. Huzzah! March. Big sneeze. April. Because the goal here is to get the early ships done as quickly as possible, so we can just concentrate all the dockyards and just get those ships off the construction line, so we can start doing some more interesting stuff sooner rather than later. Here you got some decent admirals. Yes, we do indeed have... That's not an admiral. Start pretending, army guys, to be admirals. You're not. Yamamoto we've got. Ozawa we've got. Koga we've got. And they're all really good because they all have the bold trait. And I was actually looking over this. So I've been watching the World War II channel with Indian Idol, which is bloody fantastic. If you've not checked it out, I would highly recommend you do. But I'm a year behind. We've just had Pearl Harbor, where I'm watching. I'm in December 41. Well, actually, technically, it's January 42 now. But there's a lot of information about the different admirals and their different skill sets. And yeah, Yamamoto and Ozawa were really, really good. And they're both aviation enthusiasts, although Yamamoto... One of them was battleship enthusiast. I think Yamamoto was actually more pro-battleship, but he just knew the power of aircraft. Kondo does have fly swatter. He has battleship adherent, which is a negative AA attack, but he also has fly swatter. And Toyota is also bold, but he's old guard, which I pretty much never want to use. Then Ioe, career officer, aviation enthusiast, is another really good carrier commander. Although he's not bold. But we will at some point need to decide precisely what each of these are doing. I think Koga's actually going to be my submarine commander. I mean, I'm actually kind of tempted to make Yamamoto the submarine commander early on so we can get that experience. And just become an even more awesome captain, admiral. What channel is this? Hang on, let me find it. World War II. That's the channel I'm talking about. It's amazing. Go check it out. It has a year by year... Oh, sorry, not year by year. Day by day, week by week blow of the entire Second World War. Right, I think that's all of the... No, it's not. I haven't done my planes. And the other suggestion was to have them training too. Okay, so this fleet... We're going to need to spend a little bit of time sorting out precisely what your ships can do. This is the Submarine Fleet. Let's make sure we use the right icon for Task Force. Task Force, and then your symbol is the High Seas Fleet. Now, how do I want to do this? Or do I maybe want to wait until we've got more of this stuff done? No, because I want these guys drilling so I can at least start getting Navy experience to then change the ship templates. Yeah! Well, destroyers. Light cruisers. Heavy cruisers. Battle cruisers. Battleships. Okay, so destroyers. What different types do we have to play with here? So the Katsuriki are mine layers. The Fubukis are screens. That was right. The Mutsuki are also screens, though just not as good at it. And then the Momis are blank templates that we can do anything we want with. They are going to be escorts. Next up, battleships. So we got 2 Nagato class. Incredibly slow, 21 knots. 23 knots. Okay, our battleships kind of suck. We have Kogo battle cruisers, which if memory serves are actually decent. Yeah, 31.5 knots. Our battle cruisers are great. So as a base template, these are absolutely phenomenal. Especially for a tier 1 ship. They're really good.
Raiding party!
Midgeman, thank you for the raid. Welcome to the stream. Oh, Midge, I think chat had a question for you. Chat, do you remember what the question was for Midge? There you go. How you doing, Midge? What were you up to? I saw that you were streaming with some new gadgets that you got for Christmas. Spill the beans. What were the new gadgets? Go XLR. That's a microphone, right? Fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, you may notice that we were kind of talking about you earlier. It's a mixer. Ah, okay. I should really get one of those myself one of these days. Audio is one thing I just haven't done anything with. Anyway, so what are we doing? We are sorting out our Japanese navies. Built-in FX panel with a sampler. Nice. Mixer cooking streams with Midge Wen. Right, so heavy cruisers. These are also really good raiding cruiser. They're very good speed. So we'll put you with them. We have these cruisers which are 27. They're a bit older, bit slower, but still not terrible. We have the Miyokos, which are also really fast. And then we have the Yazumos, which are incredibly slow. So I think you guys and the battleships will probably stick together. And then we have the light cruisers. Which we'll sort. So our heavy cruisers and our battle cruisers are brilliant. Alright, so the Tenyuri class. Mine layers. Otherwise, cheap. 27 knots is a bit slow. Nagaras are even slower. Also mine layers. So the Japanese light cruisers suck. More mine layers. Are you all just mine layers? No. So the Chikurumas are actually probably the best because they're just a blank template. And I think I basically need to take off the mine-laying module and replace it with a recon module. So the light cruisers are all going to be recon. Oh, I did miss one. Well spotted. It's a mine layer! I'm shocked! And then we have our different carriers. They're all different. They are all different. Alright. So the cargos. There's only one stat here that's important, and it's that one. Deck size 60. So the cargo's good. Ryuu. It's alright, I guess. Akagi is a 60 as well. And the Hosho is terrible. Can this one be redesigned with another deck hangar space? Yes. That might be worth doing. Because it's a tier 2 hull. There's like no reason for it not to use that slot. So I might well spend a bit of time refitting that one. Anyway, in the meantime, so our rubbish ships... It was the Hosho that was rubbish, right? Yes. You're going to go in with the battleship fleet, which is these... No, it's not those guys, it's these guys. This is my shore bombardment fleet. This is my actual capital escort fleet. Oh, speed. How fast are these? 30. 33. 31. Yeah, those are all good. Oh, so 28. Yeah, we're not going to keep you in a carrier fleet. So that is our strike fleet. So let's have you lot drilling until you're ready. When Japan says, it's all mine, they mean it literally, it seems. Mine everything. But the funny thing is, I don't actually remember... Because I know the British and the Germans mined extensively. I don't think I've ever heard of Japanese mines. But they must have existed. I just realised I have again got super red face because saturation is up. Let's go turn you down. Is that one? Is it that one? It's not that one. It's that one. Because I'm not wearing the blue shirt anymore. I don't need to look colourful any longer. It's not Christmas anymore. We can go back to black being the most glorious colour. They did mine lots, mainly around the coast of China. Aha! Right, so we have enough political power to do that, but I think the first one I want to get is... No, we can't do that until we have... agility focus. Oh, and this is all the industrial stuff, so we definitely want to do those. Liaison conference. Improves the strength of our current generals. Oh no, and planning skill for new army leaders. See, that is that trait done properly. All current leaders and all new leaders gain +1 planning skill. Because there are some national focuses which is like, all current leaders get this, but new ones don't. Or another one which is like Poland has, which all new leaders get this, but current ones don't. Is there a chance we'll see Super Yamato in this game? Unlikely. We're going carriers. Just because our carrier fighters are so good. So we might see some big carriers appearing later. That's certainly possible, especially if we do decide we want to go toe-to-toe with the US. So the real question here is, do we go toe-to-toe? Or do we have the surface fleet in a subsidiary role to the submarine fleet? With the quality of our heavy cruisers, we could certainly do surface raiding. Mining around China is the only one I know where they did lots. Maybe in some other areas around like the Isles, but I'm not sure. It's just striking just how many of their ships are mine layers, though. Particularly compared to those of other nations. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do this.